I'm back. The cases, the star cases I was talking about came in good, because now I could put these on the wall, but I made a mistake. Because maybe I didn't make a mistake. I was saying I wanted to put this one up too, and maybe another one, but part of it was taking some down. That's, okay, so yeah. I'm on a loading screen. I'm not, I'm at Target. It's Wednesday morning. Getting ready to bring the kid out, mostly ready for the day. Oh, I remembered that I wasn't watching the cats eat, and so Uzi was stealing Star Commander's leftover food that had some medicine stuff in it. Luckily nothing serious, but just another annoyance with this whole situation, and started an eater food, so I gotta figure that out. Right now, my one cat, Star Commander, gets 4 medicines, 2 of which are pills that I'm able to put into pill pockets. She eats easy. Wasn't easy, we just switched one. The other 2, one is a paste and one is a powder, and they go in the food, but, and the powder is just like a probiotic that she eats with her food, so if she doesn't have it, it's not the end of the world. If the other cats, it eats not the end of the world. The other one is like another sort of probiotic, something for her stomach, so I don't think it's gonna hurt the other cat if she had a bite of it, but then Star didn't get all of it, and but I got distracted because the kid was supposed to wear her swimsuit today because it's splash day, and she didn't have it on, and then she couldn't find it because even though they were clean, they were in the laundry, so I was like, oh, let me get it out of the laundry for you, and while I did that, the one cat stopped eating, and the other cat started stealing her food just because. So I'm gonna take a minute and look at this part of my Transformers collection, because it makes me happy. This part especially, this shelf is like one of the most perfectly set up shelves. I need to get a new Ultra Magnus, but this is like my Transformers 1986, the movie section, and like you can see all the characters, the colors look nice, it just comes together with Starscream in the middle. So I'm at the coffee shop. This is what I'm focusing on. This is obviously the shirt. I'm trying to limit it to 3 colors or less: purple, green, and white on a black shirt, so all the black would just be the shirt showing through. Right now I have this sort of magenta red color just to indicate where the white's going to be, but it is kind of an interesting alternate take of like, this could be a print or another variant shirt. Like if I was a bigger property, a bigger creator, whatever, where it made sense, I don't know, maybe I'll make a print of it. It's interesting looking, but I don't want this to be the default. Meanwhile, yesterday I cleaned the litter box. We have a new metal litter box, which I have mixed feelings about because it's heavy and it's supposed to be easier to clean. It doesn't like things get soaked in it as much, but I had to bring it out to the driveway and put Dawn dish soap and spray it with the hose real heavy because it was stuff was caked on there that wasn't coming off easily. And I'm pretty sure I shouldn't have done that. I'm pretty sure I shouldn't be putting Dawn dish soap and litter residue down my driveway into the street gutter drain. But I honestly don't know what else I'm supposed to do other than throw it out, because in the past that's what I've done, and I'm trying to do better than that. So I feel like I succeeded in not throwing something out, but failed in maybe doing bad for the environment. Also, I may have made a huge mistake doing shirts. I went to a print shop, and the short version is they're telling me it's going to be about $20 a shirt cost, which is what I thought I would sell them for. I have to make a few shirts because of commitments to Kickstarter, but my thought was I'd make those and then make, some more and see how they do and have some for me and whatever. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. I might end up making literally 3 shirts. This might be what happened, just to fulfill my obligation. And might have to be print on demand, which isn't what I want. It might be shirts that I don't like, which isn't what I wanted. I gotta figure it out. I'm working on the art though. I'm trying to get the art 100% finalized with the idea of using less color. If I'm doing direct to garment or other sort of things, the color doesn't matter. But if I'm doing silk screen, every color costs. And I thought I wanted to do silk screen, and the more I look into it, the more I do want to do that. The cost, I feel like I'm going to lose money regardless, so I might as well do what I want to do and get a good product. Okay, the prints are here. I reprinted some of these Power Ranger prints. This one is a first time, and then these are the prints for the Horror Ray 4 stretch goal. It's 9x6. I usually do a little bigger. I think it came out good. I do wonder if I could have done the saturation a little bit more. A lot of times I'm working RGB and then I switch to CMYK. I do like kind of how muted it is. Yeah, it's good. If I reprint it, which I don't know if I will, I might adjust the colors a little bit, but it's also not translating great on video. It looks a little bit better in person. 11x17, I reprinted my shin, and then there is the clean, virgin, whatever you want to call it, print of the cover of issue 3. So these are the two that are going to the Kickstarter, and we're almost done. I'm waiting for the comics and working on t-shirt, but we're getting closer every day.
Huh? Mr. Bob Dabalina, woo! Mr. Dabalina, Mr. Bob Dabalina, Mr. Dabalina, Mr. Bob Dabalina, Mr. Dabalina, Mr. Bob Dabalina, Mr. Dabalina, Mr. Bob Dabalina.
Pierogies! 8:19 on Wednesday. Today, went to the coffee shop. I worked on a Baragon picture for a while that may or may not become a print, but I also finalized the art for the t-shirt. Did I do that today? I don't know. Oh, I did. I finalized the art because I had to add some like lines and stuff. I talked to my buddy Bob at Bay Area Film Events. It's ironic because I sent him a message because he had done a silkscreen t-shirt from a San Francisco printer that had my art on it for a Godzilla t-shirt. I'm not wearing that one right now. And I was like, did you get it silkscreen? How much did you pay? Blah, 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 blah. And he's like, I'll put you in contact with them. And I sent them an email with the art. I have not heard back yet, so I got to talk to them about numbers and if they could mail it and all that. But I'm a little bit more hopeful than I was about the other place because I think silk screening is the way to go. The other place was like, I don't know if we could silk screen this, but I mean, they silk screened my other drawing and it was similar levels of detail, so maybe this place is just more specialty or something. And the pricing on the site, at least, looked a little more in line with what I was hoping for, where the cost per unit would be $10 or less, where I could sell it at cost to a few backers or include it in the package, and then anyone else I would charge more and actually make money / get my money back. So I'm a little hopeful about that, but I'm waiting for it to get back to me. Meanwhile, at almost the exact same time, Bob, who I had done a shirt for before, and other artists in that little crew, sorry I'm shaking my thing around so much, have done shirts for, I guess he had somebody lined up to do a design for, there's the Godzilla San Francisco Godzilla Fest, which I'll be doing in September, but there's also Godzilla Fest at the Balboa Theater, which is like a film festival, which I've done before, but I'm not doing this time because I can't go twice so shortly. But they were saying, can anybody do some art because the artist fell through? And I said, well, I don't have time to do new art, but I have tons of Godzilla art. If there's something you like, let me know. And he's like, yeah, I like this piece. And so we're taking a headshot I did that was full color and kind of pulling the colors out and reducing it. And theoretically, that's going to get turned into a t-shirt by the same company. So it's weird that I'm like, do you know about this t-shirt place? He's like, yes. Also, we're going to make a t-shirt of your art too. So it worked out good. Went in the pool today. My mom came over. Had a big long day, but I'm feeling pretty good. The prints came in. As I talked about this briefly earlier in the video, it's not, looking at it in bright light, it's better than I thought. I had one outside and it looks good. So I don't know if I'd want to, it's tough. I like the way it looks, and I think it just has to be well lit. Or maybe I increase the vibrancy. I don't know, but they're good. It's fine. It's good, it's fine. So I approved the proof for the comic. I'm waiting for a date for a shipment from that. The art for the t-shirt is done, and I'm waiting to hear back from them. So all things are rolling along pretty well. Tomorrow is the 4th anniversary of Coyote Coffee, which is one of the coffee shops I go to, which means, among other things, they're going to have like a ton of music all day. I don't know what else is going on. I'm going to go because I want to support it, but I'm not sure I guess I'm going to work on Baragon. Baragon is the thing I want to work on. The thing I should be working on is I have 4 sketch cards that I'm commissioned for. I already got a deposit. Got to get them done ASAP. And I did the designs, the rough sketches, but I need to, what I'll probably do at the coffee shop is format them so that it's just black lines that I could print out and start transferring to the cards. Yeah, so that's kind of my plan for tomorrow. But for now, I'm going to go have some coffee, decaf. Do I drink a lot of coffee? Depends on who you ask. I would say I have 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day, but usually only one of them is caffeinated. Maybe 2, or maybe I'll have caffeinated soda in the middle of the day. Now you know. That's the ratios. Okay, bye. That guy is driving around with his foot sticking out. Can you see it? He's got his door slightly open, but his foot is hanging out. So even if the door is broken, why would you drive with a foot? Because, okay, maybe he has a broken door. And I feel like I've seen this before. Maybe he has a broken door. and he's holding it to keep it closed, and he's just got to get to the job he's doing or whatever through the day. Or maybe he's about to get out somewhere, but he was driving around the parking lot, backing up, going in the circle, parking, and the whole time the door was open about a foot, and his foot was sticking out like a couple inches from the ground, kind of like how you'd ride a bike or a motorcycle where your foot's almost touching the ground. I can't see any logical reason for that. I cannot. And there's people just walking in the middle of the highway here. It's a wild day. All right, it's a little after 9, and I specifically wanted to go to Coyote Coffee, Montague Brothers today because it's their 4th anniversary. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll support. They're gonna have extra music, whatever. And it's mob scene. I had to park, not in their parking lot, and not in the parking lot next door, but one all the way over, which was fine. But I went in, and the line was like wrapped around the whole store to order, and every single seat was filled, and the music and stuff hadn't even started yet. And I was like, this is not for me. I'm gonna go find a place where I could sit and draw. So sorry I can't support them, but it seems like they don't need my support. So I am at Adobe Coffee. I don't know if I showed you this. This is the Godzilla Fest shirt rough that I was not planning on doing, but their artist bailed, and so this is kind of what I've come up with, and I kind of like it, especially it's very graphic. It's not my normal style. And then I've been working on Baragon today. I was a little distracted. I got here a little late, and I was a little distracted talking to somebody, but I'm getting close to being done with the inks, and then I may or may not jump into colors today. It's a little after 1. I'm leaving the coffee shop. I have about an hour and a half before I have to pick up the kid, but I got some stuff to do at home. I finished the inks on the Baragon piece, so I will color that and turn it into a print, which is, again, not something I'm doing because I felt like doing. I was moved to do. I was inspired to do, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna turn this air conditioning off. But also, it is a popular character that I have been asked about from time to time. And I do have a Godzilla show coming up in a while, so having another new piece wouldn't hurt. Arguably, I shouldn't be doing it now, but I am. Printer for the shirt got back to me to say I'll have a price for you by the end of the day, so we'll see how that goes. There's something else. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going home. Okay, you got a print going out. Weighing it. I'll put that at 6 ounces. Came home, I'm feeling okay, but a little bit tired. Laid down for a little bit, stared at my phone unproductively. I'm getting a print ready that needs to be sent out. I gotta send another package out, and then we'll see where I am with time, if I have time to do anything else before I pick the kids up. Not kids, just one. I'm not gonna take any of the others. Not today, anyway. A little doodle sketch on the envelope, and we're moving on. Bah. Doing some flats on Baragon. Mom's house, we had a nice chat while the kid did a little bit of play in the other room, and now they're husking corn outside, but it's about 99 degrees. So I was like, I'm not doing that. So I'm doing this for a little bit, and then I'm gonna go out and drop packages off at the post office, pick up the pizza, and stop at Ross, then come back, have dinner, bring the kid home, yada, yada, yada. Still haven't heard back from the printer, other than saying they'll get back to me, and I haven't heard back from Bob about the other t-shirt. So the 2 t-shirts are kind of in limbo while I'm finishing up Baragon, and other than the t-shirts, once this is done, I'm gonna do the 4 sketch cards is my next thing, which I talked about yesterday, but I didn't work on today. But yeah, putting t-shirts are top priority. Putting those aside, finishing up Baragon, and then the sketch cards in that order. Hey Siri, what's the temperature? Hey, Siri. Couldn't ask them when I was talking to you, but it's 97 degrees out, so that's horrible. Ross. That was a bust. Post office was closed, but had successful drop boxes, so now I'm going to get pizza. Pizza. Triangles for my mouth.
Corn, probably. Yeah, I was going to take the corn out soon.
Look at this little cutie. Little spots. What's going on, Lizard buddy? 7:23 in the morning, and it's Friday, which means it's pizza day, which means I don't have to make lunch. I'm looking forward to having some coffee and avocado toast at Coyote Coffee, which I didn't get yesterday. I went to the other coffee shop, which has arguably better coffee, but the food is worse overall, and it's harder to be productive there. I ran into some people I know, and again, it's this thing where, I'm a little, I don't want to use the word lonely, but a little solitary, not always by choice. So often by choice, but not always by choice. And so the idea of making friends is appealing to a certain extent. I go back and forth. It's good to have options. How about that? But a lot of the people I run into at coffee shops, generally speaking, are nice, but not friends. They're not. It's just somebody to chat with at the coffee shop. And often, well, I shouldn't say often. Yesterday, I didn't want to really chat so much as I wanted to work. And some people I can chat and work with and it's no problem. Some people demand more attention, need me to make eye contact, need me to give more feedback to their story. Someone that wants to monologue at me like a podcast, that's great. Or kind of mumble to each other back and forth as we're doing our own thing, that's great. But sometimes there's someone that's like, they're there to talk and that's their main goal, and that impedes my progress sometimes. But anyway, I was thinking how, in about an hour, I was doing the math. I'm like, okay, in like an hour, I'll be on my way to drop her off. So like in like an hour and a half, I'll be having coffee and avocado toast. And I could have a coffee here, but I don't know. I like try to deprive myself a little bit so I enjoy it more when I get there. Like, if I'm going to spend that money to get that fancy coffee, then yeah, I don't know. What am I working on today? Well, I haven't heard anything from the t-shirt stuff. The last couple of days, I've come home and worked partially at home. So I'm going to work on Baragon. I'm going to work on coloring Baragon, and then either the t-shirt or the Ultraman sketch cards, depending on if I hear back from anybody.
I want you to feed me. Look at this tummy. Put food in it. I'm poopy. I'm still poopy, but give me food.
Okay, I'll give you food, poopy. Got ready early today. It's not quite time to leave, so I'm letting the kid have some arcade time. I'm having some cat sit on me time, catching up on some texts. Regarding color, I've always been a fan of black and white line work or grayscale. I've warmed up to color over the years, but I've never been a big color guy. And I've been employed professionally as a colorist, and I've done my own color, and I'm competent. I'm confident that I'm competent. However, I sometimes feel like I don't understand color theory, and I hear people talking about things, and I'm like, I don't get that. But at the same time, I did go to art school, and I do kind of have the basics. That being said, when I was working on the print for the Hargrave 4, I definitely was struggling with color, and this happens to me a lot. I feel like I put in the basic colors, and then I'm like, ugh, this looks muddy, or how do I pull this together, or what shadow should I use, or whatever. And it's a lot of trial and error and guesswork and brute force is how I feel. That being said, I do have some tricks and understanding, whatever. But working on Baragon, I was like, oh, let me, this is going to be sort of simply colored. There isn't a big background. And I just watched a color theory video for the first time in forever, to kind of brush up, like, here's the 7 most important colors. And, like, I knew all of it. It wasn't helpful at all. Not that they were wrong, but I'm like, oh, yeah, it talks about the color wheel and, different, you get the 3 analogous colors, or you get contrasting colors, or like basics like that, which I understand. And then one thing it talks about, which I don't remember if I'd heard before, and I'm getting its percentages wrong, but it's like the 60, 30, 10 or something, where it's like most of your image should be this color, and then they should have a secondary color that isn't as much, and then the rest is this other, which kind of makes sense, but it makes it seem like you should have 3 colors, which obviously isn't true, but it's sort of like a basic idea. And I did use that when approaching the Baragon picture, but it just made it look kind of muddy, and Baragon's kind of muddy already. I mean, he is a kaiju that burrows underground, but also the colors are very earth toned and stuff. And it talked about, cool colors and warm colors, and I don't know, it just like all the things it talked about, I'm like, oh, these are all principles that I do know, but I still have trouble, because it's sort of like, I feel like about color theory, I don't find it as difficult as perspective, but I find it similar, where it's like, I think I understand the rules, and I try to use the rules when I'm having, and then like, I'm trying to use the rules to fix this issue, but it's not really working. Let me brush up on the rules. I'm like, nope, those are the rules, but it just looks wrong, or anatomy or any of this, where like, there's a certain point where and it's arguable that my understanding of the rules aren't complete enough, but there's also an argument, which I think is true more often than not, where it's a matter of knowing the rules is important, but it just has to look right. And if the rules aren't making it look right, then maybe I'm doing something with the rules, or maybe it's just like this is an outlier exception or whatever. But yeah, so I'm gonna be working on color today, and I'm thinking about that a lot, because I feel like I don't understand it as much as I do it, and as well as I sometimes do it. Hey, it's another holding my phone down, not looking at it, because I'm driving, and therefore I'm striving to be safe. Kids dropped off. I'm going to the coffee shop. I'm not going to Coyote Coffee. I'm going to East, which is the closer one, because I'm hungry, and I want to get there quicker. And also, once summer is over, I won't really have many opportunities to go to East, so I should probably take them now while I can. All that being said, her lunch bag was in here, which she didn't need today because it's pizza day, but there was some fresh watermelon chunks in there that I got from my mom that anytime somebody sends me home with food, there's like a 50-50 chance it's getting thrown away immediately. And this is why, because it went in the lunch bag, and we got back, and then the kid was pretending to be asleep, and then Tech Advisor Azuki came out, and things happened. Bag never got brought in. Sat out here all night, all morning. The fruit's no good anymore, so it's getting thrown out. So that's that. On a similar note of forgetting things, Action Activate is the Power Rangers show that I do with Alex, the big dog, once a week. He couldn't do it this week. And usually I'll make a little solo video just saying, hey, no video this week, or at a red light. Or I'll, put up at the very least a community post. I didn't put anything up, just completely forgot. And the cats. One of the medicines we're done with. The other two are being pill delivered and doing okay. But the one keeps not really eating all her food, and then the other keeps stealing it. So that's the cat update. Okay. All right, 10 o'clock. I've been working about an hour, pretty steadily on this Baragon piece. It's coming out better than I thought. They're known as the red monster or the red kaiju sometimes, even though they're mostly brown. So I didn't want to make them red, but I put a red highlight, which could be attributed to their skin tone or to a lighting source. But either way, I think it helped bust that out. I made the ground green, even though I wanted to make it brown or gray. I think the green pops it out more. And going back with color theory, it's the complementary color of the red, so they bring each other out. I need to do a little bit more highlighting detail in a few pieces, and I need to do the background. But we're getting close to being done. I think it'll be done today for sure. All right, it's been about another hour, and I think I'm done. One of the things I did was put just random pink here as maybe like a glow from underneath. I'll look at it again before I go to print, but I'm going to stop working on it and call it done for now, and see what else is going on with the t-shirts, and then if not, I'll move on to the sketch cards. All right, it's a little after 11. This is the Seagrath card sketch, and this is what I've turned it into to be able to print and draw. I took out all the color, removed the logo, shading, whatever, and this is going to be done in yellow, so it won't be ink. So this is the black and white. I'll print this, reduce it, transfer it to the card, ink it, and then use this as reference to put everything back in. And so I have to do it for this one, and this one, and this one, and then I'll be on to the next phase of that. All right, it's about 1 o'clock, and I have converted this to this. I've converted this to this. And most importantly, I went in and cleaned up the art on this and then converted it to this. So I need to eventually get those t-shirt things ready. I have not got an email about either one yet. And the next thing I need to do, I guess, is go home and print these out. Yeah, I'm gonna head home and maybe do some work there and then pick up the kid in about an hour and a half. The perfect color.
Slurpee day. Free.
Okay, so Tech Advisor Azuki decided to come with me to pick up the kid, which was cool. We stopped at 7-Eleven to get a Lafufu, which is like a bootleg Labubu for the kid. And she'd been wanting a Slurpee forever. And I'm like, well, maybe this summer we'll get you a Slurpee. And so it was like, I'll get her one. And it was free Slurpee day. So we all got Slurpees. That was just coincidence. It was great. Came home. I did finish up the art that was needed for the Godzilla Fest t-shirt. That's done. That's out of my hands. And then meanwhile, I still haven't heard back from the same printer for mine, but I feel like they're working on that and then they're gonna get back to me. I'll probably email them later if I don't hear anything. But I did have to bring, this is like a low res one that I just kind of colored over. So I'm working on making the high res one a part of this and coloring it so that it'll be all ready for when it's time. My turn. But right now the kid's about done with independent play and I gotta get working on dinner. These lights look really cool. Saturday morning, 9:40. This is my day to sleep in. And as usual, I did, but I got woken up at like 6:45, 7:20, 7:45, and eventually I was able to fall back asleep till 8:45, but it was like 2 hours of forcing myself to fall asleep where I always question, was this worth it? I spent 2 hours waking up and going back to sleep. How much extra sleep did I get? So I kind of feel more tired now because I battled for the sleep. But regardless, it was a nice chill morning because I wasn't in charge of the kid. I just went and said hi, had a cup of coffee and one of these little sugar-free biscuity things. Because when it's my turn, I normally take over at 1, but I'm gonna take over early today. A, to be nice, and B, because we're gonna go, me and the kid are gonna go to Toast for brunch. Maybe go to the comic store or something while we're out, and then theoretically go for a hike, which I'm excited for because I like going on hikes with her. And we used to do it a lot, but then she kind of wasn't so into it. but I'm not excited because it's been like high 90s lately. So I'm like, how hot is it going to be? How much shade is there going to be? How long is this hike actually going to be? I don't know. But she said she wanted to go on a hike. So I said yes, because I don't want to dampen that idea, because I want to go on hikes with her. Because it's healthy and fun and good for us both. But yeah, all that to say, I have a couple hours before that. And I'm going to go back to fixing up the t-shirt design, my t-shirt design. The other one's done. And once I have that finalized, I'm going to re-email the person and be like, by the way, here's the final art. Where are we on the pricing? And my take on the pricing, the way I read it, and I could be wrong, is it's $50 each color for setup. And I have 3 colors, so that's $150. And then for $3 at 72 shirts, that's like the lowest they'll do. It's something like $3 a shirt to print or whatever. Doing the math on that, it came to like $300, $400, something like that. But I don't think that includes shirts. So assuming I can get the shirts for $5 or less, I think I already said this, the math works out to about $10 a shirt, a little under $10 a shirt, which isn't awesome, but that means I could sell them for 20 and get my money back and whatever. So like, you know, I'd hope to get them for, my hope was to get them for $5 each, but I was like, but probably because I'm printing so few, it'll be more like $10 each. And then I got quoted 20 and I'm like, that's insane. But now it's looking more like 10, but there's also shipping. I don't know. I got to wait for them to get back to me. The good news is if this works out and if I have enough sales and if it makes sense, I'm going to be in San Francisco in a few months for Godzilla Fest San Francisco. And that's where they are. And also that's Bay Area Film Events is who connected me with them and who's making the other shirts that have my art on them. And so if I ordered more, I could probably get them picked up by my buddies in Bay Area Film Events, and they could bring them to the convention for me maybe, or at the very least I could pick them up locally so I could save shipping on that. And I'm toying with the idea, see, I'm getting way ahead of myself, but I'm toying with the idea of, I was told that they have like glow-in-the-dark ink and stuff, so maybe it's a case where like I make these normal ones and then I print like 10 glow-in-the-dark ones special for that show, or I do one of the other colorways, you know, but like I pick them up there in person. Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm going to do that, and I think I have an Etsy sale, so I guess I'll be going to the post office later, too. Back to it. I had some new prints. These are for the Kickstarter, obviously, for the horror, but I had some reprints I needed. I sorted them all, put them away. New print of Lunar Wolf Power Rangers that, before putting it away, I made a new Etsy listing, and I'm going to share that on social media shortly, just let people know it's now available. It hadn't been available previously, only being bought by the actor Philip Andrews, who played that character, because I had done that quick print batch at a local printer when I went to Kaiju Brooklyn, but now I will have them available as well on my site, and if you see me at a show. I did something else. What else did I do? Oh, I packaged up an Etsy sale, got that downstairs ready to go, so I'm going to drop that off when I go out, and I'm going to start getting ready to go out. So it was a calm-ish, well, it was a fitful sleep, followed by a sort of calm morning, then some productivity, and now I'm going to go out and do some kid stuff, hanging out, and then brunch.
Look at the lovely flying burrito. Gonna go right into my mouth. I hope it doesn't spin in my stomach and make me have diarrhea. No. Diarrhea, no. Okay.
I'm not going to push you, no. You're on, no.
On the hiking trail with my super cool dusty hat. This works when it's not too hot, but then when it gets super hot, I'm just drenched in sweat. I don't understand how these are supposed to work.
It's like 82 degrees and it's windy, so it's okay to be out here today. We did toast. We went to the comic store. This kid is climbing random ladders we found in the hiking wood area, getting much too high. I'm trying to balance allowing them to adventure and explore and not have a heart attack. So we're seeing what's happening here. Even though it makes me nervous, I'm letting them try. You okay? All right. Creek bed in the little hiking area by our house. I think probably close to a year ago we walked down it, and then it's been full of water since, but it's always just so wild. So like, you know, this is, 10 feet across and a few feet deep most of the time, and then we hit the summer and you would never even know it. Okay, I showered and stuff. I also shaved. Tech Advisor Rizuki came home, debriefed with her, put away some groceries. Independent plays over in about 5 or 10 minutes. I, at the comic store, got this comic for $1, Void Rivals. It's a Skybound. It's like a Transformers mixed with other stuff, I guess. Never read any of these. I have a few Skybound. I think I read issue 1 and 2 of Transformers. I have so many comics that I don't read. It's terrible. It's a terrible thing. But this had Hot Rod, or I guess Rodimus Prime was one of my favorites at the cover, and I was like, $1, I'll get it. I'm going to try to read it right now. I buy these all the time. I bought a bunch when I was at Kaiju Brooklyn. I was like, I'll read these on the plane home. And I didn't. And you know why? Because I was drawing.
And that's the thing is 9 times out of 10, when I have free time, I draw instead of reading comics, which is tough. And I remember when I went to Joe Kubert School, and anytime, I was younger and I was an artist and dying to do comics, and I read comics constantly. And it would always be like these professionals are like, I never have time to watch movies or read comics. It's like, what are you kidding me? You're a comic artist. How do you not read comics? And it's like, I kind of get it. Not that I don't like comics, not that I don't read any, but it used to be I was just filling time. It's like my whole life was this empty void. And like, I could read comics forever. And now it's like I have to fight for every spare minute. And sometimes it's hard to justify reading a comic versus making a comic. That being said, I'm going to try to force myself to read this right now before her independent play is over.
Did it? I read it. Issue 15. It's got like 4 or 5 stories, like a couple pages of each one. It's like, okay, there's a bunch of plot lines in the middle of whatever's going on. The art's fine, nothing great. The cover art's, I think, maybe a different artist because I like the cover art a little better. It was interesting. I'm not getting any more unless I see them in the dollar bin maybe. But that's the timer, so time to kid. Sunday morning, got a little bit of rest extra in the morning with the kid. She got up sometime after 7. Had a relatively easy morning. She played with slime, and I drew on my iPad a little bit. I have a Micronauts commission from Marvel Comics. It's not due for a while, but I started sort of just sketching the characters because I haven't drawn them, many of them ever, and all of them in a very long time. And now my mom is over, and me and tech advisor Arzuki are getting ready to go to the movies to see Superman on opening weekend, which is the first time in a long time I've seen a movie on opening weekend. And she's taking a picture of me. I think she's filming me. Here she comes. Look, what's she doing? There's some kind of paparazzi over there. I don't know what's happening. But anyway, we're going. It's me, Gazbot, and I just saw Superman. It's just called Superman. Look up Superman. I keep thinking there's some subtitle or something else like that. But no, just Superman. I guess it's been long enough that we didn't need a Man of Steel or other modifier. We didn't have an episode of Action Activate this week. Schedules got messy and it didn't happen. And we didn't say anything about it either. But the big dog went to see Superman and just posted his review of it, I think, yesterday. And I just saw it, and so what's my review? Well, it's not going to be super in-depth or detailed or spoilery. Thumbs up. I liked it. It was good. Now, full disclosure, I wasn't a huge fan of the Henry Cavill Superman movies. I like Henry Cavill, generally speaking. But the Man of Steel, it was too dark. Wasn't my Superman. I grew up on the Christopher Reeve Supermans. I liked Smallville a lot. I liked the cartoon, the Batman the Animated Series, that then became Superman the Animated Series. I like that. Superman isn't one of my top favorite superheroes. But Superman should be kind of bright and cheesy, and this movie was kind of bright and cheesy. Not as bright and cheesy as a Christopher Reeve movie. I mean, it definitely had some pathos and some darkness, and some people died. So I think it's a good balance between the cartoon, bright and cheesy that some people like, and a little bit more modern, darker take. There's some humor. I like the robots. Overall I liked it. I mean, definitely. The Brandon Routh Superman had things about it that I liked, and I liked him as Superman a lot, but that movie, this was better than that. This is probably my favorite Superman movie since the Christopher Reeve movies, is how I'll put it. I think my ride's here. Yeah. Flower ducks in the car wash. 4:45 Sunday. It's been a little bit of a weird day. The plan was to go see Superman and then go to the mall and do some other stuff with Q while the kid was being babysat by my mom. We went to the movie theater, bought tickets, got our snacks, and tech advisor Azuki was not feeling good and was like, I'm gonna go home. I'm like, are we leaving? Let me fill up my soda at least so I, have a soda that I paid for. She's like, no, get your soda. You go watch the movie. I'll see you later. But she drove me there. She's like, I'll either come back or take a Lyft or whatever. I'm like, okay. And, so she wasn't feeling great. And then she felt better, came and picked me up, but then wasn't feeling great again. So we went through a car wash and then basically came home. Tried to be productive at home. She ended up taking a nap. She's okay, but she's not feeling good. And so I ended up hanging out in the bedroom with her while she was watching Bleach and caught up on laundry. I had like 3 loads of laundry to put away. I put one in the washer. Then I started dusting and cleaning up like just the rooms, just random receipts that were over everywhere. and I had a bunch of figures that I bought for the big dog that I needed to open and take them out of the package, put all the package in recycling, and then take them and put them in a smaller bag just so that I could give them to him when I see him in September. And that's basically what I've been doing the second half of the day. Now I'm at the mailbox because there are some sketch cards I need to pick up, and then I'm gonna go back in, clean up, and start thinking about dinner. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned it, but I did find time to sketch some Micronauts characters earlier. So there's that. Nope, I'm not checking the mail because I didn't bring my keys with me, because why would I? I was just taking out the trash and bringing the cans to the curb. So I'll do that later, it's not urgent. But anyway, I convinced her to let me get rid of that, so I had to come back out, so I grabbed my keys, so I'm gonna go get the mail. It was completely empty, and I did another load of laundry, and there it is again. But cleaned all this off, cleaned all this off, cleaned all this off. I'm a superhero is what I'm saying. More Micronauts sketches. Tomorrow, let me lay on the bed here. Tomorrow, the kid's back at her summer program. What am I gonna try to accomplish? As far as art goes, I have 4 sketch cards, this Micronauts commission, and those are the things that are due immediately. Well, not due immediately, but that I've been paid for, or that I've committed to a time schedule. Like, I have other things that are kind of penciled in, but those are ink that I have to do. That and my Kickstarter stuff. My Kickstarter stuff, I'm just waiting on a lot of stuff right now. Yeah, so I guess that's what I'll be focused on tomorrow. Probably the sketch cards or the Micronauts commission, or actually I did commit to something else, which I haven't talked about yet. I don't think I've talked about this. A couple years back, I did a comic called Kid Switch. It was the first issue. I designed the characters. A script was given to me, but I did the visual designs for the characters and like created the visual universe, whatever, however you want to call it. I was the originator or whatever, and I did the cover and stuff. And at the end of that, this was for Reckless Sidekick Productions, who I just did the cover for Mighty Mascots for. And at the end of it, I was getting into the horror, getting back into the horror. It was conflicting. I was having trouble working on both, and I was treated well, I was paid well, but and I'm friends with the owner / co-creator, whatever you want to say. And I said, look, I'm not sure if I want to keep doing this. I had done the pencils, inks, colors, everything. It's like, maybe if I just do the pencils or just the inks, and I don't remember the whole conversation went, but basically they were like, it's cool if you want to step back. I got another artist they could use, and I was like, okay, fine, great. And that artist fell through, and they had problems getting it going again with another artist. And meanwhile, Mighty Mascots took off, and they kind of got forgotten. They're bringing it back. They told me they were going to be reprinting it soon, which they are. And they have a new artist, not that one that didn't work out, but a new artist, who I think is already done with issue 2 or close to. And the Kickstarter pre-launch is already up. I'll put a link somewhere. But if you look Kickstarter, Mighty Mascots, or Reckless Sidekick Productions, or Kid Switch, you'll probably find it. It's for issues 1 and 2. And I, even though it's not new art, I have a comic coming out through there. And I was saying it's weird because up until this year, I haven't had a comic come out in a couple of years. And this year, I am going to have 3. The Horror 4 issue 3, a reprint of Mighty Mascots issue 1, the variant cover of Mighty Mascots issue 10, the reprint of Kid Switch issue 1, and I misspoke. I'm going to have 4 comics because I agreed to do a variant cover for issue 2. I'm not doing the art for it. They have a new artist, but they're allowing me, however you want to put it, to come back and do a variant cover for issue 2. So I will have 4 comics coming out this year, having had none come out in a few years. So I'm pretty psyched about that. So I forgot about that. So that's the other thing. Maybe I'll do some rough, concept sketches for that to send over to get approved. So I got a few things. All of my really heavy pressing stuff is at least somewhat worked on or a little bit down the road. So I don't feel a lot of pressure to be working, which is good, which is why I was able to do that Baragon print kind of in between. But I feel just enough. I have projects on the horizon. I have motivation, but I don't feel crunched, which is nice. And today I ended up mostly cleaning the house, which wasn't the plan, but after seeing Superman, it was good. I got a lot of stuff out of the way. So tomorrow, if all I do is art, that's fine because I did a lot of housework today. So that's a good place to be. Hello, it's me, Gazbot. It is Monday morning. It's about 9. The kid got up and got ready pretty early today. So we stopped at the post office to drop off a print on the way, which is good because that print I packaged up like 2 days ago, put it in the car to... Music keeps coming on. Put it in the car to deliver and got left here. So it's not late, but if I hadn't dealt with it, that would have been a problem. Heading over to Coyote Coffee. talked about like the different art stuff I want to do, but I think when I get there, I'm not going to dive right into art. I'm going to check my emails, see if I got anything back from the printer of the comic or the t-shirt printer or whatever. And I am going to San Diego Comic-Con, lucky me, not to sell, just to go. Tech Advisor Zuki should be going with me. And they have like a lottery system for various events, signatures, things like that. Last year I was lucky enough to get a signature with Jim Lee. 2 signatures actually. So it sometimes happens. That's the only time I've ever won one of the lotteries. But I need to fill that out by the 17th. So I think I might just start off drinking my coffee, having my toast, and filling that out and catching up on emails, and then I'll jump into work after. Hey, I'm at the coffee shop. It is 1:20. I've got about an hour before I have to pick up the kid. I didn't do the San Diego stuff. I didn't really do a lot of what I said I was going to do. I did check my emails. The t-shirt company that I wrote to on Wednesday and said they'd get back to me on Thursday, and it's Monday, still have not gotten back to me. Meanwhile, the same company that's working with the Godzilla Fest shirt has been getting back to them, and I'm copied on it, so it's kind of weird. Meanwhile, that shirt, I feel like the guy who's doing it needs my help, but I didn't really want to do anymore. I've already given him like an hour or two and like letting him my art for free, and I don't really have the time or desire to work on it anymore. And I did do a rough, hey, here's what I think it should be, and he's like, well, I'm gonna try something else. And he's like, it's not working. Can you do it? It's like, if I get around to it, I will. Meanwhile, what I've mainly been working on is the Micronauts commission, and I am going wild on it. I'm not getting paid that much. It's going to be in a sketchbook. I'm doing it digitally, where it's like I'm treating it like as though it was a variant cover. And Micronauts is a weird one for me because I never really had many of the toys. I had like 1 or 2 when I was a kid. I have, I think, 1 in my collection now. So I know the comic more than the toys, even though I don't know how successful it was. I know it was out for years, but I got it. Like a lot of obscure comics I got into. Because there was a comic store when I lived in Delaware briefly called Blue Hen Comics, because I think there was like the Blue Hen Mall, something Blue Hen in Delaware. I don't know what that is. It's not a town. Is it a town? I don't know. Anyway, they had boxes, 10 cents each, 12 for $1. And I got a lot of comics out of there. And I got a lot of Micronauts, and I got a lot of Firestorm and ROM, and I forget what else, but a lot of like Z-list Marvel things that went for years at some point, but when I was getting them, they were less than 50 cents. And this is back in the late 80s, early 90s, I guess. But anyway, Micronauts is a special place in my heart because of that. So this is something that's like, oh, it would be awesome to do Micronauts covers. I'm just treating it as that. A, because I want to do a good job and I have the time. B, because the person who commissioned this has supported my art for years and I want to do a good job for them. And the sketchbook I'm doing it has like Neil Adams and like big time artists in it. So I got to like step it up a little bit so I fit in. And C, because I might then, I'm not going to color it. I'm excited that I'm doing this and doing a complicated composition without worrying about color. I just have to make sure it all separates with black and white line and stuff. But also, I'm going to potentially, I haven't really done this, even though I've done a few variant covers now. I want to get like a cover gallery of covers that I've done for myself, for other people, spec covers, whatever, so that when I approach people about doing a variant cover, I'm like, here's covers I've done. So I might make this a black and white mock-up because most of what I have is colored because I end up coloring myself or coloring other people's. But as I'm working on it, there are high points and low points. One of the high points is this female character. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting her name. I want to call her Minuet, but I don't think that's right. This was a study I did, like a quick sketch off of a cover. And this was just out of my head. And it's like maybe one of the best female superhero type pictures I've ever done. I like the face. I like the body. It's like sexy, but not overly sexualized. It's sort of like athletic. I love this Farrah Fawcett 70s hair. It was so much fun to draw. The composition I've struggled with a bit. It's a bit of a mess here, but basically I had the idea of having Aquarier or Courier, I've heard it said both ways, fighting Hunter, and I think they start off as enemies, but eventually they become allies. But like the idea of like what's happening, and the rest of the crew like reacting like whoa. And I mainly wanted a really big Biotron looking shot. Like these two and this was the first piece, and then I was like, well, maybe I could fit in Bug and a couple of the characters. And eventually I was like, okay, I could fit what I consider all the main characters. There might be others that came and go, but this was like my Micronauts. These are the ones I would want to include. And they're smaller. This is not accurate to size, but I'm thinking maybe they're like watching a projection or something. Yeah, I got to figure out a couple more things, put some technology in, but it's coming together. And I think by today or tomorrow, this will be ready to transfer in ink. And it doesn't have to be done until September, but I just allowed myself to do something I needed to do that I was feeling inspired to do. Going back to high and low, I had a really hard time with this character, the head and stuff. I still may go back and redraw it. It's one of those characters that has a different bunch of permutations, and I'm not sure what I'm going with. A courier also, this helmet with these like spikes coming out, fins coming out on the side was very difficult. And this head I redrew a few times, so where I'm at now, I'm okay. But I definitely, it's been 4.5 hours now. To be fair, a half hour to 60 minutes of that I was on the phone with a friend who needed to talk, but this is at least 4 hours of work right here, not including what I did, over the weekend. But I'm feeling good. It's about 2 o'clock, and I'm feeling pretty good. I'm a little, my stomach's not feeling great. Generally speaking, I'm okay, but I'm feeling good about I got distracted. Somebody who knew me said hi, but yeah, good day. I had no trouble focusing on drawing, and other than the phone call, a couple minor distractions, I got here at 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 5 hours, so at least 4 hours of solid drawing just on the Micronauts piece. Now, I'm going way above and beyond, but I do not mind. I'm happy with it. There are elements of it that are average. None of it is bad. I don't think any of it's bad. There are elements that are just fine, average, and there are other elements that are superior, where I've talked about before, I'm like, how did I draw? That doesn't look like something I drew. And I feel like I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't want to get too, up high in the sky. But I feel like I'm on the cusp of leveling up. I'm doing that thing where certain pieces I'm working on, certain elements pieces I'm working on are coming out better than usual, more often. And I'm struggling with it less. Now, I'm still struggling. Everything's hard. Art is difficult. But, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because I've been drawing so consistently, or maybe because the studies I occasionally do sink in a little bit, even though it doesn't feel like it at the moment. But and I was looking at the layout of this. I feel like my layouts are getting better, and part of that is I feel like I've always had a decent sense of layout, but I haven't always utilized it. I've often approached it like, this is a pinup, this is just one character, or I'm struggling with the perspective, or I'm struggling with the anatomy or the details, and I'm focusing on layout more, where I'm intentionally like, no, layout's important. Layout maybe is the most important thing, to me at least. Because in the layout, aside from the graphic design of it, there's storytelling. And I'm trying to do more storytelling with my prints and my variant covers, with whatever it is. And of course, I've been doing more comics, which is all storytelling. So I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm down on myself a lot. And I'm feeling pretty good right now. Now, once I get into the inks, I might be like, I'm horrible, I can't do anything. But right now, it's a victory. I'm feeling good. And yeah, that's it. I'm gonna move on from here. I gotta go pick up the kids soon. I might be able to do a return. Yeah, I'm gonna do a return on the way to pick her up, and then we're going out to the mall for a play date with some other people. So it's gonna be a little bit of a long day, which is fine because I had a great first half of the day. And yeah, it's paradoxical. Parents know this. I mean, I feel like even non-parents know this, but like, absence makes the heart grow fonder. So as much as I love my kid, and as awesome and smart and funny and great as she is, and I love spending time with her, it's stressful, and I got to keep her from killing herself, and she, is a kid, so there's a lot of just mental energy and physical energy I got to spend being around her, even when it's good, and it's not always good. Sometimes she's in a bad mood or problems happen, but when I'm able to be by myself for a few hours during the day and just really focus and have some coffee and draw, and I'm feeling great. So I'm going to be a much better parent to her today. Not that I'm ever a horrible parent, but I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Let's have fun. Let's run around. Like, I'm feeling good. So and I'll give Tech Advisor Azuki a break, because I'll watch the kid longer, and then hopefully I'll be a better partner to her as well. It stinks that my ability, again, I guess maybe I'm normally C+, but some days I'm B or A in the category of, father or partner, and it stinks that that's dependent on health and art and free time, but realistically, these things all contribute. So while I think, generally speaking, I'm always satisfactory, it's nice to be above average sometimes.
Guacamole. From Rebel Taco.
Yeah, you either lose points or I'm not sure. The other day, my mom was here. She always brings her little dog, and her little dog decided to puke all over this rug, so I hosed it off. Now I gotta put it in the washing machine. Time at the mall, and yeah, high energy, lots of fun. Exhausted after I got back, and then just put her in a room for like maybe a half hour while I rested, and then made a quick, easy dinner. Tech Advisor Azuki's giving her a bath, shower now, whatever. Micronauts, because I kept coming back to Huntar, and what I realized was, this is kind of the image I had, and I kept reworking it, and it's a little bit not on model, but that wasn't really the problem. I realized that I was mainly thinking of a cover where he looked like this, and there was a distinction somewhere in the series. He became this more monstrous version, and I was sort of doing this weird hybrid between the two because the real monstrous version, and this one isn't exactly right either. He has more fangs. His face looks a little more like that. This needs a little more work, but it's closer to what he would look like, at least my version of what he would look like. But before that, he looked more like this. He had sort of a Zen the Intergalactic Ninja face, and he didn't have all the tentacles, and he had boots and stuff. This is kind of the version I was thinking of, and I somehow was mixing the two of them together, and it needs to be one or the other, because they're two distinct versions. Yeah, so meanwhile, I just really quick redrew him twice, but I think I need to go look at some comics or something to see what version I really want to have him be, because I need to finalize that before I move on. I just did my lotto picks for San Diego Comic-Con. I'm not going to be there all 5 days. I used most of them for Pop Mart and Tamashii Nations for Tech Advisor Uzuki. And then on Saturday, I used all 12 of them to try to get a Todd McFarlane signing. Last year, I was lucky enough to get a Jim Lee. Todd would have been my top pick. If I get it this year, that'd be amazing. When I was working on that Baragon picture, I remembered I had this. I kept looking up pictures of Baragon, and then I was like, oh, the whole reason I bought this is because it's an encyclopedia of all the different characters of Godzilla, barring some of the super new ones, even different versions going back. And so, actually, I think I just passed. There's like a Showa Baragon, and then there's the Heisei, which is like the Millennium, which is the one I just did. And they had it in here. Now, the style is a little softer, a little more cartoony than what I do, but it's a good way to see the details, and it points out the differences and stuff. And like, again, it's a thing where like, I get these reference books and forget I have them, and then spend time looking on the internet for stuff and not finding as good of reference as the stuff that I bought. Look, see, there you go. It's got 2 pages kind of describing everything. Now, my picture doesn't look like that, but this was great reference, in addition to a still from the movie. 8 o'clock in the morning, Monday. I took some garbage out. Now I'm taking some cans in. So, yesterday and last night, having done so well on the Micronauts commission, the one character, Hunter, I just keep redrawing it. I spent at least an hour redrawing it in bed and some time before that. And this morning I just did a quick resketch. Part of it is the pose. I'm starting to have issues with the pose and the perspective. And I'm like, oh, am I doing this pose? Is the pose awkward? But part of the pose being awkward is because, oh, should he have a shield? Should he have a gun? Should he have claws? Should he have a sword? Because what version is he? And I tried looking online and I find a lot of inconsistent data and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to try to look in my comic collection to see if I have some Micronauts comics. I know I did or do somewhere. I hope it's in one of these boxes that I can find quickly before we go so I can bring them to the shop with me. Because again, it's a thing where online I wasn't having much luck, but theoretically I should have examples here. So let's see. All right, I looked through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That one I may have damaged. Cool. I looked through 8 of these. Started off looking at almost every comic on the top and then got less and less precise as I went on. Because what I realized is I don't think I have a fat run of Micronauts comics, like a section of like 20 of them in a row or something. I think I have a few scattered throughout my collection at this point, and I couldn't find them easily. And yeah, that's a dead end, unfortunately. Another piece of positivity, today's high is 86. Now, while that's a little warmer than I'd normally like, considering we're in the middle towards late part of July and we're getting days that are in the 80s, that's a win for this area. So this is some scans. Somebody scanned in some Micronauts pages from the new Voyages, which was like the main issues I was thinking of. And it starts off with Hunter in his original form, and then it gets mutated. But there's a lot of inconsistencies, panel to panel, book to book, and it's all the same artist. So, I'm just going to do my version. Okay, yeah. 11:19 at the coffee shop, and I've been here about 2 hours, and I've just been redrawing Hunter, and now I've started redrawing Acroyear. And part of it is that Acroyear I had a little bit of trouble with, and he wasn't finished. But these were the first 2 I drew, and after doing all the rest, they were the worst. I completely changed the pose of Hunter. I kept trying to make the other pose work, and then I realized I needed to just stop. I was redrawing him to be more on model, or at least on my version of the model, which is mostly his first version with some touches from the second version, like texture on his skin. And one of the things I kept looking at specifically is these weird like rib lines that I always associated with him, even like when I was just remembering him, he always had weird rib lines. And I'm like, it almost reminds me of Kelly Jones and like the Batman stuff he did in the 90s. Well, Kelly Jones was the artist on the Micronauts I was looking at. So it's this weird thing where I don't love Kelly Jones' art, and I think he uses that rib stuff too much. I've seen it on zombies, and Batman, and all kinds of stuff. But when he used it just on Huntar, not on all the other characters, it worked really well to show that he was this genetically modified thing. So I kept that there, and I gotta clean this up, and I'm pretty happy with the pose. Acroyear I changed a few times. I sort of just tightened up and beefed him up, changed his helmet a little bit, and I realized he rarely was holding the sword with two hands, so I put it in one hand, made sure they're crossing a little bit, and I think I'm ready to go in and clean this up. But first, I've been getting another coffee. 2 o'clock, the car, I have the fit. It's super hot, so I'm just letting it air out and let the air conditioner go. I'm leaving the coffee shop. I got, theoretically I have a half hour or so left, but I didn't get to do the return I was talking about the other day. So before I pick the kid up, I'm gonna go do the returns at Amazon Fresh. Today's been a weird day. I feel okay, but I was here for about 4.5 hours. So let's say I worked for 4, because maybe I took a break to look at some emails in the beginning and a few things like that. About 4 hours. Yesterday in 4 hours, I more or less did the whole Micronauts picture. Today, that's more or less all I worked on. Redrawing the 2 main characters. Huntar, got him on model, happy with how it is, changed his pose. And then Acroyear, I pretty much redrew as well. He was mostly on model. I changed the helmet a little bit. And got them really tight, where I feel like, okay, I can go and just ink on top of these, no problem. But then when I placed them back inside the bigger image, I realized that they weren't working quite as well. The way the swords are crossing on top is kind of blocking out some of the back. And, I had previously been thinking about having them be a little bit bigger. And now I'm like, oh, maybe smaller. Maybe I need to make them really small, make it look like on a little hologram table. Maybe I need to make them exactly in scale with the rest of the characters. And I hit a weird point here where I'm done. I got to go back and look at. Also, there's like a ring thing around Acroyear, which kind of like Huntar has been designed several different ways. And I changed it, and I think it was better before. So I got to redraw that. That's a small thing, but I think I gotta step away and maybe reposition some arms or something. I gotta step away and look at it again. Theoretically, it should be ready to be inked now. I should be able to just throw this on the light table, print it out, throw it on the light table, and ink it onto the final paper. But no, and it's wild that at this point I've spent 8 hours, 4 hours today, 4 hours yesterday, maybe 9 or 10 hours total, and I haven't even started inks. And this is for a private commission that I charge less than I normally would. But even if I charge what I normally would, it's already getting to the point where I'm like, am I gonna make minimum wage? I don't know. But I knew that. I knew I was putting more work in than I was getting paid for, and that's fine. But I am a little disappointed. I thought I was doing good, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, it's been 4 hours. This is all I've done, So anyway, that's going to be it for this week. This is probably going to be going up a little late because I need to edit it. It's 2 o'clock. I don't know if it's at 3. It's not going to be up at 3, but it'll be up sometime today, Tuesday. So see you next week. It's me. See you till next week. See ya till next week. Whatever. Bye.